Okay. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead with that. Go ahead.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. We have about 10, 12 people who joined in. Just 1 second, folks. We've got only 15 people in so far. 14. Okay, still very few people have joined in, huh, today? Are you guys in another class before this? Got only 15 so far. Almost 520 right now. Okay, till we wait for others, does anybody have any questions regarding the assignment?
Yes, sir, I have.
Who's this?
Sir Anjali.
Yes, Anjali, tell me.
Sir, I have sent you my product, and I was absent in the last class where you were discussing the products for everyone. So, I just want to ask, sir, the like you what do you actually mean by engineering manufacture product? Because my product is a manufacturing product, but it's
What
not
is your
much.
product?
Sir, it's a OLED panel screen, the screen conductor screen that we use on a mobile.
Okay, that's fine with me.
So will it work?
Yeah,
Okay, sir. So because I thought that most people are they are into hardcore machines and everything, so I thought that like
see, uh, you are manufacturing a product which is going to go and fit into another machine.
yes,
I
sir.
want to see a strategy. I don't want to see an end product, what it is. I want to see a strategy of how you are going to market this. How are you going to capture the audience? So
Okay.
think of it from those points of view.
Okay,
Any
sir.
product that you choose, you literally have to reverse engineer what you are thinking here, because you know what you want to present,
Yes,
but
sir.
you have to try and find the right way to present this information so that it is something that suits what you are trying to learn.
Okay,
For
sir.
me, it's not a problem. A challenging product like that is good, because then you have to think outside the box to try and put together a nice strategy for that, a nice plan on how you think you're going to capture this market. Who are the end users? How are you going to approach them? Who are competition? All of that is there in your strategy. So you
Okay.
have to be aware of how you are going to plan this whole process out.
Okay. And sir, one more doubt was that do we need to do we need to show the market competition as well?
Naturally.
No, like sir, it's like we have to have a dedicated slide for that, or it's just we can just mention it somewhere in between our strategy.
See, do you think if you are working, if you are just going to say it somewhere in between, will that be accepted by your management?
No,
So
sir.
when you are planning to present this information, you have to validate your information.
Okay,
Even
sir.
if it is something that you are showing for the sake of showing it, like in a assignment kind of situation like this, you have to be able to validate where this information is going. So develop the numbers, progress the numbers, show them out where it comes in the next 2 years, 3 years, whatever, however you are thinking about it.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
I had a doubt.
Yeah, this is, who's this? Sorry.
Varsha.
Varsha. Yeah, tell me, Varsha.
I was planning, I mean, I'm doing it as a quarterly strategy for digital marketing, like
Hmm.
as a whole, for the website, plus social media, plus SEO. So,
Okay.
would that be okay for a quarterly basis also?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. See, I'm not asking you for a lifetime plan. Give me your current plan, what you are planning to do. In your quarterly strategy also, you will have to say how you are going to take this ahead for the next 6 months or 3 months or whatever it is. So it will cover that. It will definitely ask, you have to ask yourself that question. See, it is like, uh, how do you do this? So let's say you're going on a long road trip, you are planning certain things, so you know that on day one at night you're going to be in this city, so you already have planned where you want to stay that night. Similarly, you are already planning day 2 or day 3 or day 4, the certain places that you want to visit, so you are already thinking ahead, right? So a quarterly strategy in a business scenario is the short term strategy. Then the long term comes where you are looking at the next 4 months, 6 months, 12 months, whatever it may be. So just think of it on an overall basis.
Okay, sir.
मेरे मम्मी पापा मुझे गरीब जन्म दिए।
Who's
हाँ,
this?
मुझे मम्मी पापा से बढ़कर कोई चीज नहीं है।
What is this?
हेलो, कुछ पूछना था तुमसे। क्या?
Umang, please
Umang,
mute yourself.
Umang, mute
मुझे
yourself.
शादी करनी थी तुमसे।
Among, you're visible, sorry, in the mirror.
Good evening, sir. Kerzina here.
Yeah, Kelsey.
So, sir, you would want us to mention that where we would see our product in the next 6 months or the next 1 year. You would want us to mention those details, right?
See, Kersina, it's a strategy for a company. So you are naturally thinking a few months down the road. Yes. So look at it from that aspect also and have that information ready to discuss.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome. Okay. I think we have what about 25 of you here today already. Let's just begin with what we have to cover in today's class. Okay, so this is where we basically, you folks are able to see my screen, right? Are you all able to see the screen?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
all right. Okay, now this is where we stopped. So we talked about the different activities that we do for offsite, and just to kind of take a quick starting point from here. So we have talked about brand mentions, commenting, newsletters, and many other different things that we can do offsite to keep the uh, marketing activities going for your products or for your company. Now, the next stage of what we will discuss in our syllabus part is websites. Okay, um, my description of a website is the digital embryo. So basically, that's where everything begins. That's where you start with many different thought processes, many different uh, plans on how to develop your particular website. But now, to begin with, a very standard question that comes to a lot of us when we start putting together information for a website is, what are the traditional roles that you expect the website to play? First and foremost is the information part of it, and second is the sales generation part of it. Now these are two things, and then finally it is combination of both also. So what happens when you are developing a website is you have a specific focus in mind on the things that you want to try and put together on your site. Now if it is a let's say it's a website like Quora, right? Now Quora is where people go and get some questions, some queries to answers and things like that. So you can basically say that it is an information based website. But if you look at an Amazon website, um, Amazon or a Flipkart or something else, it is a sales based website. I apologize, it's a sales based website. And here I'm talking about sales generation. So you have, let's say, a website for a Tata Motors or a Mahindra or whatever. And what you have seen in the last 2 years on most of these sites is that they have gone from an information base to a sales base also. They are generating sales and they are able to book cars online now. And part of that has been because of what India has adopted now in terms of the ability to book these high value capital equipment over the net. So transactions are possible digitally. We can do a booking amount. We can do even a full sale amount over the internet through the directly through the site of the company. And a lot of these factors have been made possible because um, the government has given clearances to a lot of these businesses to be able to do the same. Uh, Previously, before, just to give you a little historic perspective why this is important, and I'll tie it back to where we are over here. So you have what we have adopted as the general sales tax into our accounts, I think about 4 years back or 3 years back. I'm not, I want to say 2016 is when we started. Yeah, so about 4 years back, approximately July के आसपास. Now, what happened at that time was um, a lot of the smaller companies did not have the facilities to do all of this online. So they went through a portal to pay their general sales tax or to file their returns. Now, okay, that happened from the end user point of view. Now, I want to go and buy something. Now, I'm receiving a sales receipt. I want to count that against my expenses. So when that happens, now we are receiving certain things called a QR code on the transactions that we do. That QR code is valid for a long time or for some 20 years or something like that. And that QR code can be scanned to create all the information or to generate all the information. So you have now websites which are playing an information base, they're playing a sales base and sales leads and sales generation. So think of the different aspects of the website that we have to different. I shouldn't say the word aspect. I have to say the word um, different tools that the website has to be ready to accept when it is going from a transition phase. Now, about 8 to 10 years back, most websites related to capital goods companies were purely information based, and which wouldn't get updated even for 4 or 5 years at a time. And now that is not the case. The demand in the public forum is that even a capital goods equipment manufacturer should have a lot of information updated on their sites. They should talk about customer services. They should talk about engagement with new customers, sales, important landmarks, important milestones. People today want to make it a habit to try and develop what they call a connect to the digital side of the world, where pretty much 70 to 80% of the population today lives. And having that connect automatically helps us validate what we are looking for and also be able to ascertain the truancy of all of this information. So this is basically the starting point of what you will look for when you are developing a website. So keep this in mind. So as a company, you have to be prepared today for the last box, which is both. And as a website developer or a digital marketing professional in a company, you have to be able to connect 1 and 2 very well. Information has to be good, information has to be historically based, information has to be relevant in today's world, should connect to the end user very well. That is again your target audience that you will come back to. Then you also have the videos, the content management, which is purely in the hands of a digital marketing professional, because they have to really work on improvising how they want to try and connect with the audience. Now, generic objectives and very see, I've had a discussion about this with a few other people who I work with, not necessarily in Kirloskar, but at different companies. And one of the main reasons why I did that was I connected with many different people who worked in various professional roles, not specific to manufacturing. They were in IT services, they were in banking, they were in hospital managements, and some of them even in food and beverage services. Okay, so hotels. So generic objectives of a site, you see, increase sales revenues. That is primarily our main concern in today's world, which talks about the dollar being the main ruling point of any business transaction. And then you have visibility of your company. You have the platform to advertise your products and services. This is the best tool for brand development. And you have a lot of content here that is generated by people who are working within the company, which can be used for absolutely free. And trust me, there is no greater benefit for a website developer than homegrown content coming to the forefront and being used legitimately in improving your product presence in the market, improving your brand presence in the market, and also to directly have a massive connect with your audience. Customer service. Can anybody here talk to me about or give me a good example about customer service which is not related to your product? My question is vague. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Okay, I'll give you the answer. I'm not able to frame the question here. So we have all come across something called credit scores, right? So that helps financial institutions ascertain your capability to pay a loan and against your previous track record. So what you see here is a company like a Credit Bazaar or something like that. They are called Credit, yeah, Credit Bazaar, Equifax, and couple of other. TransUnion, I think, is the other one. So these 4-5 different companies, what they are doing is they are data mining your information against your PAN numbers through different credit card companies, through different banking institutions. And all of this has become possible in the last 10, 12 years because of the introduction of a permanent account number and tying that permanent account number to all of your bank accounts, without which you cannot open a bank account. So the digital uh, framework over here was built externally. And then you have a company that is working inside that digital framework, helping you understand where you can improve your credit scores so that you can be eligible for better loans at better rates and larger value. So these kind of companies are basically working inside that framework, but mining your data from from different sites and putting it together on their site and giving you a report and telling you where you stand and what is the things that you need to fix. Now that it comes from our perspective, right? So pure and simple, it is my perspective. I am the end user. I want to see where I stand. Done. What's in it for the bank? Let's say HDFC is trying to give Anjali Pandey a loan over here, and her PAN details are available through Credit Union or Paisa Bazaar or whatever, and they can get the report. So these companies like TransUnion, Equifax, or Credit Bazaar, they basically charge banks to generate these reports when they are giving you the loan capabilities. So their monetization happens there, but their customer service happens at the other end. So it's a very unique perspective, but it's a portal where you can try and understand how two different systems are working seamlessly to try and benefit the lender and the borrower. So understand how that particular system will be developed in the future also. Then you have certain companies like, let's say, um, like a PVR to generate sales leads. So they are going to find different methods to try and improve their sales with different things that come up on their website, to try and give you a package combo deal somewhere where you will be buying something along with the tickets, that kind of stuff. A very interesting uh, set of an interesting experience I want to share with you. There is a like we have PVR and Inox over here in India. There is a chain of cinemas in Indonesia. I think it's in all around Indonesia, but when I have visited Jakarta, I have seen this. It's called CGV. Okay. Now, what does CGV do? So you go to a CGV theater, all right, and basically the theater is like we have in India, built inside a mall. So you have the other aspect of it. But if I'm going to a CGV thing, I can go to the kiosk and buy a ticket myself. I can go to the whatever the I'm sorry, the digital kiosk, or go to the actual person who's selling the ticket on the counter, or the option is buying it online, right? So I think it was in the year 2018. I was in Jakarta and finished for the day and all that, and then just ventured out to have dinner, and went figured, okay, I'll go and catch a movie. So a movie that was playing at that time was, I think it was Mission Impossible, one of the sixth or the fifth episode or the series in that movies. And when you go to the counter, you can buy a ticket and you can buy certain merchandise that comes along with that for that movie. So one of it was a small vault. Then one of it was a large uh, can of soda, not a can, but a cup of soda, which had again a dial on the top of it to kind of lock your vault kind of thing. So many different things like that they sell. So these are all different marketing activities. But actually, when you if we have a problem. All Sorry about that, guys. So what you will notice is on their site, they would actually sell you a lot more of this different merchandise at a much valuable rate. And after I went back to my hotel that night, that's how I came to know about this site that existed and all of that. And interesting part was the hotel staff, they would do that for you, and you could go when you go to the theater at that particular location, you could actually pick up all of these things and they would be neatly packaged for you so that you don't have to carry it around in a clumsy way, right? So that's different kind of customer service. Sales, again, trying to grow sales through your site. Uh, Now, what it did also was retain and grow customers. And for a customer like me, who probably goes to Indonesia once a year or twice a year on business, and I end up spending maybe 3 or 4 nights over there, I may spend a night going out and watching a movie also, just for the sake of it. So that's something that you will understand that there are many different things that can happen. So you have to really uh, kind of engage customers in many different ways. And what you will also notice, like I think today's Inox tickets or PVR cinema tickets, or I don't know the other chains in India, guys. So all of these guys will still have their website addresses on there. They will have a customer service number on that. They will have a complaint number. All of those things will be there on those tickets printed so that customers can always connect to them, because this is a very heavily customer driven um, what do you say, enterprise. They survive on customers feedback and they want to improve customer retention. So if I had the opportunity to go to a PVR or an Inox, I think they are both running in the same, I'm trying to find the other name that is there. So if it's a PVR or XYZ, then they are trying to make sure that people come to a PVR only to watch their movies and to get benefits and whatnot. So now these companies have tied up with the likes of an ICICI Bank, where I can use my debit card once a month to get one free ticket on any movie at any price. So let's say a new movie is out in the theater this month, and I decide to go and watch it, and I buy 2 tickets, I'm paying only for one over there. So naturally, that's a customer retention mechanism. And how does, so what is the benefit for PVR in that? It is no benefit for PVR, but ICICI has marketed this that you can go to a PVR theater and we will give you 1 ticket free every month. So you're naturally going to go out and spend more. And you're going to use the debit card rather than using cash or something else. There is a great value in that. So these are the kind of objectives that your site should be able to show clearly. You should be able to build an online community along with that, where people will be talking about this. You're going to give them hashtags to try and share their, what do you say, reviews of the movie or experience at the theater, whatever it may be. So, and any honest feedback given will, and feedback received from customers and responded to, is something that will very well. So I'm hoping that all of you go into different digital marketing profiles where you all will be able to interact with customers regularly. And see, there is a different level of what do you say? There is a different connect when you are directly dealing with customers, because when a customer is giving you his feedback, you should be able to answer that feedback in the right way and help them arrive at a solution. So most of the time, when a customer has an issue with what they're experiencing, they will come to you. When they don't have an issue, they will not. But it is your job to try and get that feedback also. That when the customer says, oh, I like the product here, I have no complaints about it. Get that feedback documented. Ask them to respond to it on that message so that you can capture that data and take it as a positive feedback when you are discussing other issues. Okay. So there are many things that happen when you are going through the development of a website. I apologize if the arrow marks are not very clearly visible. I clearly didn't think it would look so small, but forgive me for that. So I think there are about 6 or 7 different points here, which I want all of you to kind of imbibe into your mind, not only if you are developing a website, but also evaluating a website, right? So keep these factors in mind. So you would be on the consumer end on many an occasion, and you would be at the user, I'm sorry, you would be the uh, company end on many an occasion also. So look at it from both perspectives. So to begin with, first and foremost is an objective for your site, right? So hold on. These are the different objectives that you typically are going to keep in mind, all right? So that's your how you are going to establish your objective for developing a website for company XYZ. And whether you are selling power banks, whether you're selling charging wires, whether you're selling headphones, whether you're selling capital equipment, first set up that objective. Now, when you, let's say you are a third party who is developing a website for this company which manufactures capital equipment, sit across the table with the entire marketing team and the decision makers and clearly define those objectives. Now, if your company's site is purely an information site, then that is it. There will be at the end somewhere contact us will be there, and there should that information should be absolutely clear. So you have to understand that if you're a company that's selling capital goods, you need to have service, you need to have sales, you need to have spares, you need to have what do you say, complaints. All of these things should be enveloped into your site, should be part of your site. Then comes your target markets, target audiences. How are you going to reach them? What are the things that they are looking to? And that's the identification and the description part of the target markets. So when you are talking to all of these people at the user, at the end user group, you need to understand that this is where your target market is. What are the things that they're looking for? What are the um, aspects that they want you to cover? So that's the second most important point in that. Then comes the site content, which you have naturally got through the discussions of point 1 and point 2. You are going to set up a navigation structure. So you have drop downs, you have information. So let's actually take 2 minutes here, and I want some of you to give me things that you feel should be available on a website. Come on, I want to hear some of you speaking now. Shashank, what do you want to see on a website if it's capital equipment? Shashank is here. Nupur?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Nupur, tell me, what do you want to see on a site?
So I would like the website to have content, but not exactly in the type of content which we see on newspapers, for example. It has to be very engaging, interactive.
Good.
Also, the
Hold
website.
on, hold on. One
Okay.
second, one second.
Okay.
Hold that thought. When you say engaging and interactive,
Yes,
what
sir.
are the tools that you're going to use to engage and interact with customers?
On a website.
Yeah.
Probably to have small videos, storytelling sort of videos, which for
Good.
whatever the product is, so they can just open, and if they are not known to the product, they can just get to know that okay, this product can be used here or applied here, or they can suggest it to someone in case someone is looking for it.
Okay. Hold your thought right there. One second.
Yes, sir.
Jharna, are you here, Jharna? Excuse me. Jharna, please turn on your mic. Kanika? Kanika? Rajiv? Rajiv? Nobody is in the class? Or everybody is just put on their mics and gone?
Hello, sir.
Yeah, who's this?
Yes, the Apurva here. Can I say something?
Yeah, Apurva, go ahead.
So we can also have something like common queries that are usually asked by their customers, so
Hold on,
that
Apurva. One
if
second,
any,
one second. 1 second, Apurva.
yes, sir.
See, that is again a very important part of your site. But right now, I'm looking for the smallest building blocks for your site. What are the
Okay.
what are the prime information that you want to give customers or viewers who come to your site?
Hello.
Yeah,
So Shashank is speaking something. Wait.
Shashank.
Shashank, you're not audible. No.
Very faint voice, Shashank. Shashank, you haven't had lunch, is it? Speak up, please. Come on, get closer to your mic. Okay, go ahead. I'll try to listen into you. Go ahead. Okay. Who was next? Simran, you were saying something?
Yes. Yes, sir. Sir, I was saying that if it is just about the smallest blocks, then I think the first should be the reachability, like
Okay.
contact us and reach us section. The next would be the product features and its information.
Okay. Hold on right there. I think Aditya has already given me that. Aditya, you said introductory video of the product, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That is still again 2 steps ahead of what I want.
Sir,
Apurva,
about the organization.
testimonials is a good point. Again, you folks are towards the end of the website development. I'm bringing you back to the beginning of it. One more answer. One more. Sakshi, crisp headings, very good. And I will tie it back to where it has to come. Shashank, what is the problem and how our product is going to solve it? Uh, no, not necessarily right now. No. There. I have my answer. I have my answer. Gaurav, Gaurav, speak up, please. Gaurav.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I want you to just read out what you have written.
Sir, I've written how we started and what we are all about.
Perfect. Basic introduction. That's it. What is this company? Who is running this company? Where is it located? Or what do they do? How many years they have been in business? That is what I want as my first little seed of information on my site. Then Kerzina has mentioned what is the product about. Very good point. Apurva has told me utility of the product, which is application. Third, very good point. I will accept that. Then Anjali has mentioned company must be able to creatively tell who we are and what we do. Very true. So now Anjali is coming to the execution point of the website. Very good point, Anjali. I like that. Nikhil, company overview and about us. I'm going to tie that back to what Gaurav has mentioned. Varsha, auto pop chatbot. What Varsha has spoken about over here is something that is very important, and I'm going to take another 2 minutes to kind of highlight upon what Varsha has talked about. A lot of banks, lot of consumer goods companies like say your refrigerators and so, like an LG, Wonder Chef, so and so. They have established or they have come up with chatbots um, on their sites, and these chatbots can help me find. I can go in and type, say I'm looking for a 30-liter microwave or a 6 kg washing machine, 6 kg drum size washing machine, or 460-liter minimum capacity of refrigerator. 5-star energy rating, 1.5-ton air conditioner from Daikin. So that kind of information comes to you from those chatbots. This chatbot will help me identify that information, push you to that product, filter out the right product from there, and say, this is exactly what you are looking for, sir. And you can find it at A dealer, B dealer, C, D, F, whatever you want. So you have listed that in your location, you have tied it back to where your customer is situated. He's situated in Pune city, in Model Colony, and they want to buy an air conditioner there. And they're going to tell them that you can go to Maharashtra Electronics on Tilak Road or wherever it is. So I'm just giving you the possibilities. Now, what what you kids have mentioned here are excellent items. And I want to go back to what Sakshi has mentioned here, which is about crisp headings. Now, Sakshi, can you elaborate a little bit on crisp headings for the class here? What do you mean by that? Sakshi, can you hear me, please? Oh, sorry. Sakshi, can you hear me better? Okay, I don't think Sakshi is able to hear me.
I think she's trying to talk, but her voice is not audible.
Voice is not audible. Okay. Let me give you my feedback about it. So for me, crisp headings is basically every drop down that you have is a heading. All right. So you have information, you have overview, you have product catalog, you have uh, sales network, you can have customer service network, then you have the contact us details, you have a careers page, which all of you should be mentioning there. You all are going to be looking for jobs in the next 7-8 months, right? So careers page should be something that you have to include in your site. So these are the small things that, and having that information readily available and easily accessible to everybody who comes to your site makes the site that much more successful. People coming to the site and getting the information they want and returning to the site for further information is a very important part of how the metrics are calculated upon website usability. All right. I think I stopped presenting here by mistake. So let me just go back to that screen that we were discussing. Apurva has mentioned about testimonials, and testimonials is a very good part because it helps people understand the history of a company. It also connects people to many different at many different levels. Now you not only have freshers who are looking at your site for maybe a job or product information, but you have experienced people also looking at your site. So that is what we are talking about, the site content and the navigation structure. Now comes the usability tests. Now, like any machine that is built, a website also has many different, what do you say, user problems, for the lack of a good word. And when I say user problems, what I mean is, let's say I've come to your site and I'm looking at this information and I'm trying to click on something, but I'm not able to go somewhere. It's supposed to take me to the contact us page, but it doesn't take me. It just hangs there. It does something, all of those things. Now, there are many usability tests that are conducted for sites. Now I can tell you from our personal experience, once our site was put together, there were all small changes that happened and small queries that came up, and we had to address them. So what we realized is, as we are addressing these queries and we are updating it, it somehow is not reflecting it onto the site. And there was a disconnect between where we were working on and the updation happening. So the usability tests. So all of these things are primary concerns of a website development process. So from what you have, the first 3 steps have been the most simple ones: establishing, identifying the target market, content, navigation structure. You've figured out how you want this layout to look, whether you want drop down, whether you want just what do you say, screen reflectives, whether you want across the screen pop-ups, those kind of things. And then comes the biggest part of this, is when you have got all this information, stuffed it into the site, laid it out the way you want, and now you want to see whether it works the way you want it to. So that's your usability test. Um, be prepared for many uh, failures on the usability test. Even with experienced of all experienced staff and lot of moving parts in a website, be prepared that you will face humongous problems when it comes to usability tests. And the best advice I can share with you on that is, when you have taken your website, you have done site content and navigation, do that part thoroughly. So it is literally like writing a storybook and saying that this is my plan, or not even a storybook, but a plan for your week. These are the activities that I want to accomplish. So let's say that there are 7 different um, drop downs in your website, and each different drop down has to be evaluated, cross checked, and verified by the owner of that information. These words, owner of information, please be, what do you say? Please do not hesitate to use that. When you are consistent with the interactions that you have with the owner of that particular information, the usability tests will become easy for you. So what happens is, now you have gathered all of this information in different parts of your uh, in whatever method, whether you're using WordPress or whether you're using Photoshop or Adobe PS, whatever it is, right? You have calibrated all of this information separately. You're going to start slicing out each navigation structure through that, and each navigation structure should be true to the content that you have established. When you are done with each section of that, you will be working on all 10, all 15, all 2, all 5 of them simultaneously. But when you have established that, make sure you go back and try and create that particular page, share it, review it, get the approval, and close it. Don't give people the chance to keep coming back to update. It is not your job to do that. It is your job to make sure that you gather all that information in the first go. Give them a chance, maybe the second time, get your information together, freeze that content very quickly. Whether it is photos, whether it is videos, whether it is testimonials, whether it is customer sales information, sales information, service information, freeze the information quickly and document that information. I'm telling you from my experience, because I worked with 4 different business units for one site, and it's a lot of information that you have to digest. You have to pare down, you have to cut down a lot of information there and try and build up that particular site the way it should look. Make sure that when you are putting together content, it should all be in the present tense. It should all talk about, it should all be in a single tense. So either you're going to talk about past tense or you're going to talk about present or future. Make sure that you have a flow on each navigation set. So if you're talking about the overview of the company or the information of the company, you will have historical information and present generation information. So make sure you clearly have a diverse, a nice distinction over there, right? Then comes the, once you have done each separate page, each separate drop down, each separate menu, make sure you have checked, tested, and cleared them, right? So you have done the usability tests of it now. Then comes your deploy and the tuning of your site. So irrespective of how much of the work you have done previously, like any other moving equipment that we manufacture, When we put all of this together on one site, there will be issues. Sometimes the site will not take the load of the images. Sometimes the site will not take the load of that many pages. The site will continue to crash. The site will not go back to the backlinks that you have activated. These are points and errors that you will face. So be prepared to address them as you go. And if need be, release parts of your site on a regular interval. So you have done this part, this part, this part. So you have seen on many sites a particular page which comes up which says this page or this part of the site is under construction, right? Feel free to use that. So every time you release a page for your site, it is there. So now that page has started functioning, you're getting some feedback from the people who have given you this information that it looks good, you want to change the font, synchronize everything. Then once you have done the stage by stage deployment and the tuning of your site, you have come to the final last 2 points, which is site evaluation and effectiveness, and the refining of your site, improving the site and the effectiveness of your site. Now, these last two parts, if you are in a company that is developing websites, these two parts are the customer service end of your job. At no point as a website developer will you be able to say, "Sir, my job is done. We cannot work on this anymore." No, that doesn't happen, because the site is going to need continuous work. It is going to need improvements. It's going to need information to be added. Even if you have handed over the entire site onto their server, you have developed this site. You have to take ownership of the site for a long time to come. And that's a business strategy that you have to develop into your entire procedure of building a site for a company. You know, I think in the year 2006 or 2005, no, it was 2006. Yeah, that was Detroit, right? Yeah. So in the year 2006, Maruti started giving dealers the option of also establishing or building a service only setup. You may ask why. You know, on any service that is performed on a car, the spare parts and the spare parts that are added onto a car, the dealer gets about 30%. I believe that was the number at least 3-4 years back. I don't know what it stands today. And from the service, it is fully theirs. It's 100%. So let's assume that you take your car to a Maruti authorized service center, service station, MASS is what it is called. And you spend about 5,000 rupees, of which about 1,500 or 2,000 rupees is your spare parts. So you're going to get 30% of it off the bat. So out of 2,000, you've got 600 bucks right there. 3,000 is yours. So one car a day comes in, you're making about 3,600. You have about 50 cars coming in a day, and you have created a separate business module for these people to only handle that. So that's what I'm talking about when you talk about the service aspect of it. So from a business perspective, when you start with a company to develop a website or something, establish a very clear-cut plan of action on how you are going to service them separately. What are the services that you are going to offer them once the site is up? See, what you want to create is value for your business, value for yourself. The reason I talk about this, even though we are in a digital marketing profile, see, you're marketing a very important service part of your business. And it is a revenue generating service part of your business. So you taking care of the site, you clearing the errors, having one person manage that at your end is not going to cost you a lot of money. But being on a retainer with a company and earning maybe 15, 20, 30,000 from them on a monthly basis on already work that you have completed has already helped you build up a very fantastic uh, revenue stream separately. So your website development process should show that to your customer as well and for your own business as well. So don't forget certain aspects of the business part of it here, because you are going to try and engage certain customers for a long term benefit. And you are going to engage them from a perspective that, uh, so we are here to provide you a service. You don't need to be worried about this. That is the thought process that the customer should have in his mind, that he should pick up the phone and say, um, Apurva, please address the issues that are there. And we will discuss this the first week of every month, or the first Saturday or first Friday of every month. So Apurva, as a business owner now, knows that it is her job to go through the last 28 days of this information, compile this information on the 29th day. 30th day, she is ready with her presentation. Whether it is 30th day or 31st day, she is ready to present this information and share the work that they have put together, and the least amount of downtime, the least amount of errors, and these were the queries we answered, and these were the open tasks that are to complete. So she has a plan in hand. So she has already helped generate some business, and now that word of mouth of that business development happens. So see, these are smaller things that you will understand as time goes, but I wanted to kind of throw that in here so that you all will appreciate what the entire business development process is when you talk about digital marketing as well. So these are the things that you will look at when you start developing a website, what you will also address from a website development company perspective. And if you are the user, these are the aspects that you will want to take from a website developer, that these are the things that we want one person ready to address our queries for the first 6 months. So you have to take ownership of that, and we are going to negotiate that into the contract. We are going to address that. So these are the things that you have to really keep in mind. Now, what we will do is, the next part of it is something that I want to take up with you in the next class, because that will give me a little bit of continuity in how I'm going to address that. I had mentioned that I want all of your assignments by Wednesday. I'm going to push that across by couple more days. I'll take it on Friday, which is the 21st of August. Again, I'm making it very clear to everybody here. 21st of August, before 5 p.m., I want your assignment submitted to me. If you are having any queries, give me a call. I know there are a couple of messages that have come through, but I really have been extremely tied up over the last few days. So I have not been able to get back to you. If you still have any outstanding queries in your mind, come back to me with it. I will try and address it. This week seems a little bit easier for me. I have a little more time available on my hand. So Gaurav wants me to brief you about the assignment once again. Okay, Gaurav. You have chosen certain products, with whether it is with discussion with me or on your own mindset. That's okay with me also. I want you to develop a full strategy for this product, on how you are going to market it, what are the different things. In the presentation that I have shared the link with all of you, and the attachment also, there are slides which talk about the strategy of digital marketing. So go through that strategy points, develop your strategy based upon that. The order which I have mentioned in my slides may be right or wrong. You choose the way you want to present your information and put it all together. It's okay with me. Again, be clear, be elaborative on what you plan to do with your product, how you plan to conquer a certain market, who your target audience is. All of those points are there in the strategy part of your in the strategy part of the presentation. If I am not wrong, I believe it was slide number 27 or 28. Who had that? I think, yeah, it starts at page number 27. It starts at 27, goes on till 28, goes on to, I think, 41. If I'm, yeah, 40, sorry. So 27 to 40. Feel free to go through that information. The information that you have on that will help you understand where things are. Okay. Any other questions for the day? Okay. All right, guys. I'll let you guys carry on for your next class. We will catch up again on Wednesday. And by Friday evening, again, I'm putting a message here on this group for everybody to see. Friday, 5 p.m. assignments are due by email or so let's avoid, so we don't have power, let's avoid, we don't have any other issues. You've got enough time. I've extended it by 2 more days because there are 2 topics which I want to cover this week, and then we can start discussing the assignments from the following week. I don't want any excuses. Everything should be ready. So network issues, power issues, laptop issues, phone issues, document issues, none of that I need to hear. All right. So let's get all of this done and let's see what else we can achieve from these strategy things, because there's a lot that I want you all to learn from each other's experience on this. Okay. All right, guys. Take care. We'll catch up on Wednesday. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Anjali. Bye. Smita ma'am, I'm signing out.
So do you have any?
Sorry, who was that? Gaurav?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Gaurav, tell me.
Sir, actually, I have developed a website for my company.
Okay.
So I need your 5 minutes to just review this before I can put it on my domain.
Okay. Right now, Gaurav, I've got 2, 3 messages that I'm looking to respond to for my office related work. Can you
Okay.
send it to me? Can I take a look and get back to you this tonight?
Yeah, okay, sir. I will do that.
You have my mail address. Go ahead and share it there.
Okay, okay.
Take care, Gaurav.
So,
Bye-bye. Yeah, Umang, tell me.
Yeah, sir, I'm extremely sorry for that. I don't know how it happened, but it was not intentional.
No,
So
that's
I'm
fine, Umang. Make sure it doesn't happen. You have
okay.
time now. Make sure it's ready before that and sent much before the
No,
deadline.
no, sir, I'm talking about that unmute thing. No, that video played about when you were teaching us before the class, during the class. That a video
Oh,
got
that's
played.
okay. That's okay. Forget it. It
I'm
happens. Don't worry about it. It's okay.
sorry,
It's all
sir.
right. No problem. Take care, man. Bye bye.
Sure.